It might be it might be months, but there's going to have to be more conversations like this, so it's not just like they had some really sad. Who was it? I'm trying to think.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Guys, can you hear me? I just cut out for a minute. Okay, sorry about that.
But
I agree with you, Gil. I think we need to start.
But there was a guy. I'm trying to think. It was Merlot. There was a guy in the IRA. He had a lot of good ideas. He went around speaking, and he did a lot of talking. But when he went to organize a fucking rebellion or revolt, it was like sad as fuck. Like two guys just got killed, and they shot like fucking one British dude, and then it just got shut down. So we can't just be we can't just do not to use that word, but we can't just do it like that, because I mean,
right. I agree.
I'm gonna find the name here in a second after I stop talking, but yeah, he did a lot of talking, had a lot of good ideas, motivated a lot of people, but when he actually went to try to do something, it was like laughable. It was like the start little rebellion with him and like some of his buddies.
That's kind of my take on this. This has to be peaceful, dude. That's the only way we can do it correctly. It's got to be peaceful, because if anything happens, just like All American said, and like we've been talking about, it can take one thing to trigger a big event. If we remain peaceful and we become united, that's less likely to happen. And again, if we do the economic protest and we join one of these movements with this economic protest, and we show them, look, we're going on strike. We're not transporting goods. We're taking control back. I believe we can do it that way. But the hard part about that process is getting people together. And it's difficult to do on these lives where we're screaming at each other, we're degrading one another, we're verbally abusing one another. I don't do those things. And again, I mean, it helps that I'm a centrist. So I'm an observer in this. I'm like an intel analyst, if you want to call it that, an amateur intel analyst. So I observe these behaviors and these situations and these systems, and I look at it from that angle. I don't get caught up in the emotions of politics or this side or that side. I look at a problem and try to find a solution.
For sure, yeah, but not enough people are able to just be data analysts like that.
Yeah, it's got to be a spiritual movement, in my view. It's got to be a Gandhi-like spiritual thing. We all come together and sing Kumbaya and all that shit. I mean,
I don't know. I think it's got to be more. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, it's got to be more. I'm having a brain fart, but like earthly. Got to be more like you feel it, you know it, you got to do something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't mean to interrupt. I just want to put this in there. The thing is, if we do the right thing, then that's when the false flag will happen.
Right. It's exactly All American. The more we come together, the more they're going to step up their tactics on us. And people have to be aware of that, and that's the thing. So, and you could almost track that. You would almost be able to see that happen, where the more we became united, we started talking about community. I agree with Chuck. I think spiritualism and getting back to that is a big thing. Carl Jung talked about that a lot, and the loss of the soul and how that affects people psychologically. So we can talk about that a little bit more later. I think that's part of it. But I think it's about, I talk about perception and perspective a lot, because those are art terms and those are also psychology terms. And perspective is where you're at. That's your position on the map, wherever that may be. So when I'm in a position and I'm looking at something, once I take all that information in and I form an idea of it, that's my perception. And we are all in so many different places, and we're trying to scream our perceptions from our initial perspectives, and we're not thinking about the other person, where the other person is. And that's where empathy comes into this, where we have to start looking at at this from the other person's shoes and start putting ourselves in those shoes, and then being able to look at it that way. And that's just my view as an artist, but I think it would help.
Yeah, no, I always.
And the movement has to be based on objective truth and objective morality and natural law principles. In my view, natural law has been the most occulted knowledge known to man. And if we align ourselves with those natural laws, they can't force a dictator on us or an oligarchy or whatever.
Yeah, I agree. And
Yeah, it's
when we
kind of
talk about those. Go ahead, Gil.
It's just kind of vague. Natural, like what do you mean by natural law and
Natural laws are laws that are
common sense?
Immutable laws. Immutable laws in nature. They're spiritual laws, actually.
Like just personal freedoms and stuff like that.
Govern human behavior, and that, if discovered and observed, can prevent self-inflicted suffering.
Yeah, not like just laws that you can't say a certain thing about a certain country and go to jail for it.
No, it's like gravity is the natural law.
Yeah, common sense.
Yeah, I mean, we let greed control us. If you guys think about it, we don't have to. I give this example, okay? So, if I started presenting myself differently, I started shopping at Goodwill. I stopped buying a new car every couple of years. I stopped buying a new phone every couple of years. I would be changing
You got
my
unsubscribe
belief system in
because
such
they
a way where all those
don't want
material
you to
possessions
hear
aren't
this
important to me anymore.
kind
So
of
that's going to make me.
talk
That's
that
going
we're
to give me
talking
a
about
freedom
right now
to not be
together.
controlled. If that makes sense to you guys.
Yeah, no, I mean, I could give a shit less about money.
It's
but I
ridiculous.
just-
My
you know,
my
when I
channel's
need
in shadow banned, but
But a lot
thanks
of
for
people aren't like
subscribing
that.
and being here. Appreciate you.
The world runs on money, man. That's the way it is, and
Yeah,
it
it sucks.
sucks because I
But
talk
you
about
get it when
Native
you
American culture. Yeah, I mean, you got to get it. Whatever it makes.
I literally get it when I need it. Like sometimes I've had months where I didn't have fucking rent until the last 5 days of the month because I run my own business and I do.
This
Yeah, I
financial
don't like that
pressure,
too.
bro.
Yeah, it sucks. But yeah, I don't let it. I mean, I have an understanding with it and a relationship with it, but a lot of people, don't.
From my
Yeah, I
understanding,
agree.
what relation is
I
how
treat it
much.
like hunting. Like you go out and you hunt when you are hungry, when you need to eat, and that's about what I do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But damn, it's my finances sit down here. You got mine's a freaking MMA fight, bro. I mean, it's like, and I ain't
wanna
tapping
go
for
back
shit.
to that.
I'm not
wanted
allowed
to
to
go back and
tap.
talk about All American. I wanted to go back and talk about what I was getting at with Carl Jung and the Bush soul, and talking about these archetypes and how we've gotten away from nature. I talk a lot about Native American history and the way it kind of goes along with Chuck, the natural laws, and the way we just our perspective on life, what's important to us. And it's like their culture, man, they had it made. It's like, why would you not want to sit around in your teepee by a river catching fish, laying with your woman all day long, man? And not going to work.
And I try to tell people that too, because
Sounds like paradise to me.
I'm half.
Hey, thank
but
you, Janice.
my mom and
Good to
all
see you, bro.
my mom and all her mothers were 100% full 4 out of 4 on paperwork Native American. I'm half. Me and my brother are the first two halves, but that's literally how I live, dude. And that's what I was talking about with the money thing. You go out when you need it. You just fucking. I have a woman that I love, and
Hey, the
it's my
Watchman,
happy
good to have
place,
you
and I'm
here.
hers. And we come back here.
Hey,
We chill.
Starla.
We're fucking happy. We eat good food.
Yeah, we're just
and,
having a
you know what I mean?
discussion about
That's
Hell yeah, bro.
what the hell's going
Yeah,
on.
Gil, you would love to talk to. I got a buddy that comes on this live. His name's JP. Super spiritual dude, man. I mean, this guy is like a mystic, like legit. And he's from the Mandan tribe. and he lives on the Fort Burtonhold Native American Reservation. So on Sundays, he's usually always on the live on
He's
Sundays.
at work.
Because we talk more about spiritualism kind of on that one. But I think you'd
As he's
really
working.
enjoy talking to this dude. He's I mean, it's just crazy, man. The stuff he talks
his
about.
username on here?
JP Tarawa.
JP
Tarawa.
H.
Yeah, JP Tarawa. I think it's TARAWAA, I believe. But yeah, if you check that dude out, man. Yeah, Kim loves JP too. He's the man. This dude is full of wisdom. And he can give some perspective. Real quick, I want to say hi to Jazz, man. Jazz, how you doing today, bro?
I'm doing good, man. Nice to see you doing your thing up here, Jeremiah.
I'm trying. Hey, man, it's going slowly but surely. We're trying to build it up slow, dude, and do it the right way, and kind of get a different conversation going, man. Because we're running out of time, dude. You know, you and I have talked about this briefly a little bit before. We have to start getting this information out, man. And Jazz knows, dude. I've fallen for the emotional manipulation. I've crashed out on his live a couple times. If you guys were to follow Jazz, I think that would benefit you. There's a lot of people that come on his lives that have a ton of information all around the world. He has people that come on that have boots on the ground over in Gaza. I mean, it's wild to hear. So yeah, it's a great live to be a part of. I would encourage you to follow him and be part of that. But you know, he's seen me crash out a couple times trying to make points, and that's what we were talking about, Jazz, is I get down on myself when I do that, dude, because I'm falling out of the example that I want to set. If I were to have kids, man, and kids were watching me, how do I want them to see me? You know, and it's like we lose sight of that when we come on this app, and we're just little boxes on the screen, you know.
Well, it's like we were saying too, sorry to cut you off, is like we're not perfect and we're also being blitzkrieged from all angles, you know what I mean? So it's like it's hard to have the energy, and none of us are savants, so you're never going to make a perfect point every single time. You know what I mean? I just forgot a word that, you know, I've forgotten the word articulate when I was trying to articulate something. You know what I mean? It's like, geez.
Right. So then everybody jumps on you, calls you stupid, invalidates your opinions and stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, I've had people tell
sometimes
me
maybe we
basically,
gotta learn to bow out. Just say, you know what?
yep,
You know,
give it a break.
today I'm the hydrant.
I've
you know,
had so many people tell me. I've had so many people tell me that psychology is bullshit, man. And I'm going, guys, I've literally watched this unfold for 10 years now. I've watched it and I've told people, and it's just tough. It's just tough because it's growing now. People are awakening to it, but covert emotional manipulation is real, man, and it's affecting us on a psychological level in this country. Not just this country, but the world. I mean, we're so connected by this stuff, and we have this tool, this wonderful tool to use where we can talk to someone on the other side of the world and see them and be in a room where other people are exposed to that. And I just started going, man, how are we using this tool? Because we're in an operation right now. This is guerrilla warfare. We're in it. We've been in it. And, you know, the psychological operations that are coming against us, the subliminal things that people don't necessarily pick up on, you know, the subconscious things, those are all part of it. And the way we speak to
You
each
tell
other
them
is
to watch them
important.
and
And
then
those
get the
words
hell
have
out of
power.
here if you don't want
You
to.
know, and I'm not going to fall to the level of people, whether
We're
it be
not
left or
fucking
right. It's
fighting.
on both
We're-
sides. I'm
we're
not going to
talking
fall to
civil.
that level and become like someone I don't want to become. And that's what I found myself doing. And that's why I had such a problem with it, because if I'm not saying something to uplift somebody or saying something to encourage someone or spread truth and get people to see what's actually happening to us, then what am I really saying, man? You know, it's just like, and that's what, it's all across this app. And not just the app, that carries over into our personal lives. It carries over into work. We find ourselves more divided, more isolated, you know, and we need to get that connection back with people, man, and start doing things with one another, start having cookouts with one another, and build that community back, you know. And there's ways to do it, and we don't have to use violence. It doesn't have to be that way, and it shouldn't be that way. And when we realize how this system is put together, and we really understand that together, we will realize how powerful we truly are. But it's only going to be if we're united. That's the only way.
Yeah, but like you said, it's so, with that narcissistic, so many like dogmatized, I'm not sure if that's a word, but so many people just stuck in their way that it is hard to find that community. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, like my girlfriend says, oh, well, you can just be nice to them. And it's like, well, yeah, but what are we doing? We're just eating a meal. I can fucking do that here with you. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I get it.
So there's got to be more ways to find like-minded. Well, I mean, there's enough ways to find like-minded people, but I guess more of motivation for people. Because it's not enough to just notice what's going on anymore, and I'm realizing that you gotta do something at this point.
Yeah.
You can't just notice.
No doubt, man.
Like, you can notice all day. You can have this whole library of knowledge of what's going on and history and this and that and noticing patterns. But at that point, then you're just noticing somebody burning down your house. You know what I mean? And you didn't fucking go out and do something about it.
Do you think we're
Yeah,
past
we
the
have to be
POR?
proactive.
Do you think we're past the point of no return, though? I mean, really?
I'm remaining hopeful.
No, definitely not.
American.
I don't know. This live is proving otherwise.
What are your thoughts on that, Jazz? What do you think? Why do you think that we're not past that point?
We're savable at this point. We're still savable.
Because the live's like this.
Because people are in a state of like a lull, they're in a lull. People aren't aware of what's happening to them or what's going on with them. And once they realize what's happening to them and this whole divide and conquer sphere falls, then we can start, like you were saying earlier, I didn't catch his name, but
Kim, you're right.
the one who was talking about articulating things, then we can start articulating what's actually going on, what's actually happening, and get this divide and conquer mission out of the way, start unifying people to where we can actually create a system that actually works for ourselves and we can benefit off of.
Yeah. Well, I've noticed I'm 31. I've probably noticed, 19, 20, and it never did anything but just know stuff and learn and be, kind of like the host Jeremiah, and just kind of stockpile information, go back, keep checking in on what's kind of going on from certain sources. But, you know what I mean? Nothing really changed other than maybe I ate a couple of minds, you know what I mean? Like, a couple.
It's harder to change people's minds for the good, man. It's so much easier to piss someone off with our words. It's difficult. That's why this is a fight, and that's why I've told people before, we're in a psychological war. So these conversations we're having is almost like a battle, but we have to think tactically about how we're going about this with our battle. What words am I going to use in this situation? What knowledge am I going to hit at this point? And then how are we going to do that while we're all talking over one another and things like that? Because
I'm gonna go get my live started. Jeremiah. But I wanted to pop in and say hello.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. And like I said, anybody that's listening, to all 7 people out there, check out Jazz's live, man. You guys are going to learn a lot about what's going on around the world. He's got a lot of smart people on his panel. So,
slow and steady wins the marathon. Yeah, thank you for that, Jeremiah. And slow and steady wins the marathon, I promise you.
Well, nice meeting you, bro.
I'm getting in front of the wave, man. I'm getting in front of the wave. Not that I care for Bezos, but he did give a good piece of information that I heard once. He said, you don't wait till the wave comes and try to ride it. He said, you get in front of it, and then you wait till it to come over you and ride it from there. And I'm just trying to get in front of it, man, because I think that more people are they're going to start coming to places like this because they're exhausted. They've been dragging it out for so long, man, and they're tired.
We
can start building. Yeah, we can start building each other back up, man, and start strengthening one another with our words. I'm not here to tear anybody down, but Jazz, I appreciate you stopping by, brother. It's always good talking to you, and you're the reason I started this, man. You're a big part of it. You helped me out, man, and you kept your word as a man, and I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. I'll be back again once you go live next time. All right.
All right, brother. You take care. Have a good day.
Stay blessed, y'all.
Hey,
Yes, sir.
Jeremiah.
Have a
Yes,
good one,
ma'am.
bro.
How are you doing it, Kim?
How are you? I just wanted
Good,
to know
good.
if any of y'all have watched The Social Dilemma on Netflix, and it shows how they're dividing the people. So like they're using AI to send misinformation. So they already know how you think, how you vote, and then they send
Absolutely.
false information, and then it starts like an online war and pitting against
You're
people
right,
against
the
each other.
Watchmen. Only
Yeah.
you're right.
So I just thought that was a big part of it. So like what you said, once
a
you
huge-
get ahead of the game and you know what they're
Yeah, it's
doing.
Yeah, that's why you have to be
Jim,
conscious of
you're
your
spot on.
algorithm. You have to be conscious of your algorithm for sure,
Uh-huh.
and what it's feeding you.
Yeah, I make a point. I make a point when I see something that's toxic, or I know I don't like, or whatever. Not something I just disagree with, but something toxic that I know is out there. I make a point to click not interested. You know, and who knows? Could they keep pushing that information out anyway? Sure, they could. But that's where our self-awareness and self-autonomy comes in, where we say, look, I'm going to make the choice. I'm not buying that today. I'm not looking at that today. I'm not engaging in that toxic conversation today. You know, where all we're doing when we do that and we get in those arguments with people is releasing cortisol into our bloodstream,
Yeah.
a stress hormone that affects every organ in our body and in our nervous system. And
Well,
we
it
do
does that
we've been
too,
doing it
but-
every day.
Yeah, and they know how long you look at certain things. They track your eye movements.
Absolutely.
Through the camera. I mean, so you gotta like if it's literally something that's just trash, you have to scroll like instantly. If it is something decent, or if you're getting nothing, you have to be able to you have to go into the search bar and try to search up something. But I mean, I've had a new
Yeah.
account and gotten into like interesting, thoughtful and thought-provoking, like deep rabbit hole type stuff, even too within like minutes. So you can do it. It's just you got to be conscious of it because the information's out there. People are still making like thoughtful, thought-provoking stuff.
Yeah.
But you just got to be aware of how to like kind of duck and dive and juke through that first initial wave bullshit. Bull crap.
Yeah.
And Jeremiah, you said JP's usually only on Sundays?
Yes, ma'am. Normally Sundays he's popped in a couple times during the week, but he's busy and has a family, so we try to stick it for Sundays to kind of count on him being there. But yeah, I mean, Kim, I know you've been on the panel before when he was on there. He's really good to listen to and talk
I love
to. Isn't he?
picking his brain. So yeah, I love the insight he has is great.
Yeah, and the guy that just left, Jazz, what is his live just bigger or what? Why does he have to go live somewhere else on his own?
Jazz, I think Jazz is in the top 20 of lives on TikTok. He may have mentioned that yesterday on his live. Dude, he's a solid guy, Gil. He's a good person. He talks a lot about Israel and Gaza.
His job sort of I was just wondering why he had to go live somewhere else.
Yeah, he does his own live pretty much every day. I think on the weekends he takes a couple days off and stuff. But he's got like a dude over there that's a journalist, man, boots on the ground in Gaza. I mean, so for example, one day I was on his live, or I might have been listening in the chat or whatever, and we heard in live time a guy turned his screen on and we listened to it, watched the big pew-pews fall over there and unalive those journalists. I watched it live, dude, and listened to it on his live. So there's a lot of information that's on his live that's really good. It does get heated because of the topic.
And I'm
Jazz,
sure the news didn't say anything about what happened, even though you guys witnessed it right then and there.
Exactly. That's the thing, dude. And they put their spin on it. While meanwhile, we have people that are there, boots on the ground, that are giving the truth, man. And you can tell it's the truth if you can read body language and people's tone and start seeing through those things. You know when people are being genuine or not, for the most part. And these guys are genuine. Like I said, it's not his fault. He does the best he can to keep it together. But just because it's such a hot topic, it gets very emotionally charged. And sometimes it's a little bit too much for me. But it's a much bigger live than mine. I mean, we got 6 people in the chat, which I'm not complaining about. I didn't do this to get big. I did this to have these in-depth in detail conversations and connect with people. So I'm not worried about that. But he definitely gets a lot more viewers. So I mean, again, I would encourage everybody to listen to him once in a while and check him out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but we're doing what needs to be done, though. I mean, we're doing what we can.
Yeah, I agree, All American. Real quick, guys, I wanted to check back with Jarrell. He just joined back. Jarrell, how's it going, brother?
Oh yeah, you had a phone call come through, and that once you do that 10 seconds, you get automatic get dropped. So it'll just kick you out. So, but no, man, with that, like you said, I've been over there, and that Israel thing with Gaza, man, that was beautiful. When I say beautiful, beautiful country, they decimated that place.
you've been there.
Yeah, you go in there like you got some Legos, build a builder, you just go in and just smack it over. Or a big game of cards. That's what they've done.
Yep, that's exactly what they've done, dude.
That's a lot of concrete. That's a lot of concrete.
That's a lot of contracts for people that like to build, though. You know what I mean? There's a lot of contracts that are going to be involved in that. A lot of building.
I mean, I don't want to, just speculating. I think I'm pretty sure they have this chemical that dissolves concrete at this point. So they might just dose it with that and then just bulldoze it into who knows what, a hole somewhere.
But the Gaza Strip itself is so close, it's right there on the water, so it's more of a shoreline. So that is a key area because they can easily build another canal. If they build another canal, you're talking about easy almost $1 trillion a year of whoever build it. So that's the key.
And those trade routes are a big part of that, Jarrell.
Follow the money.
You take care, Kim. I appreciate you having you coming up. It's good
Did you
talking
guys
to
hear about the gas that they found out there off the coast? It's
I forgot about that.
Not oil. I think it's gas that basically they can frack through the water. I think. Pretty sure it's gas. It might be oil, but they found a shit ton of it right off the coast. So you know what I mean. You're gonna do a lot to get that and that coastline because that coastline's beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, look at all the places around the world that are beautiful, man. Look at Afghanistan. People used to take vacations there. That should be a place we go and enjoy, and tourism is what's created and stuff like that. And we help one another, man.
I know. I'm
going to
surprised.
tell you guys something. Real quick, I want to say this because I know Jarrell was in the military as well. So I did 4 years in the Marines. I did 3 in the Army National Guard. And in 2012, I joined the French Foreign Legion. And I only was there for 6 months. I was like 28 years old, and they weren't doing anything at the time. So after the 6 months, you're given the option whether you want to stay or what they call partie civile, means you go back to civilian life. And I chose to go back to civilian life. But what I realized when I got over there is, number one, those people are just like us from all around the world. That organization has actually been studied. And sociologists, a lot of them call it the greatest sociological experiment in the world.
Yeah, the Washington.
Because you get people from 140 different countries coming together that don't speak French. There's only a few French speakers in the group. We're coming from all over the world, and we come together, we unite, and by the time that training's over, we're a basically trained, well-oiled machine. And I thought that was one of the coolest things I'd ever experienced. I love the Marine Corps. I love serving this country, whatever, But when I tell people about my life and one of the most important experiences of my life, it was going to the French Foreign Legion and getting to meet all these people and observing and talking to them and getting to know them, because I didn't go over there with an ego. I was very humble. I was very quiet. I'd been in the military before, but I was an observer. I was just on that journey. And I ended up becoming the honor grad of that platoon, which for an American to do that, you guys, is unheard of. It is that just doesn't happen over there. Most of the people over there were Eastern Europeans, many of them from Russia and Ukraine. And then it's like, I would think about that when I would be watching the news and going, man, where are these guys all at now? All the people I trained with, did they go back to their own places in the world? And are they even still with us? Are they alive? Are they unalive because of what's going on? And how would they have thought about that situation? Do they remember what it was like when we were together? Because there wasn't all that fighting and violence and stuff. And I try to tell people about that as much as I can, because it was one of the greatest experiences of my life, getting to meet all those people and getting to see
Hi,
France,
Jane.
getting to see the UK, getting to spend a little bit of time in Ireland. I mean, it was amazing, you know, and it got me outside of this little box that I was in as an American, and it showed me a whole new world, and I did it by traveling. Traveling was one of the greatest teachers.
Yeah. Yeah, just
All
seeing
American.
how many were they like, what was the, you know, diversity like? Was it just you, a couple Americans, couple French?
Yeah, basically.
Eastern, like what
So,
percent?
Basically, I would say it's got to be 70% Eastern European, dude. You're talking Belarus, Ukraine. I met people from Kazakhstan, Russia, the Czech Republic, or, you know, I forget what it's called now because it changed at one point. But people from all over there. I met a dude from Mongolia. I watched a guy from Madagascar that was 25 years old watch snowfall for the first time in his life. And, you know, it was cool to watch that, man. I grew up in Ohio, and I'd been so tired of snow and the cold during the winters in my life and grown up with it. And then here I am watching this dude from the other side of the world, from Madagascar, watching snow almost like a little child, man. He was just out in it, like, you know, just like, what is this? And it was cool to experience that and just understand the differences in our perspectives and how we perceive the world. But
How many people spoke
all over.
English? How big was your platoon? How many people spoke English?
So there's roughly going to be about, 50 guys, something like that. There was 3 companies at the time. I was in what they call the premier company, or the first company.
Yeah.
But, you know, what happens, and this is interesting you brought this up, dude, and I'm glad you did. I've talked about this. When you first get there,
Yeah, Kim.
and you've been selected, or
I
you're in the
understand
process of being selected, because they
dad
do
had to
go
deal
through a
with
pretty thorough
something like that.
investigation of those things. What happens when you first get there is you form what we call mafias. So you get the mafia anglais, which is the English mafia. You get the Spanish anglais, or the Spanish mafia, I mean. So you get in the English mafia. I was hanging out with all the Brits, all the people from the UK, the Irish, the Scots. I had an Australian buddy. You would get people from Canada. You would get some French Canadians that spoke both. So they would have a unique part to play in that too. Because technically, if you're a French citizen, you're not allowed to join the Legion. I think it was. So, you know, then they'll take care of that. They'll give you a new identity and everything if you need one when you get there and things. So that's not a problem. But there are English speakers. But so that's what happens when you first get there. You know, you see all these little groups.
Did they
And it's almost like our world.
English speakers in the first platoon? Is that
No, that's not how it works. Once you're selected into a company, so like for example, my Australian friend I talked about, my buddy from Scotland. At first, you know, we were part of that Mafia Anglais, but they had gotten there like a few days before me, so they ended up getting selected to a different company, and I was kind of part of a different group. But it's all mismatch, man. I mean,
It's kinda random.
it's kind of random. I had a Sergeant Patterson was from. He was from the UK. He had been in the Legion for 18 years, and he pulled me to the side at one point, and he goes, you know, and he spoke to me in English at this point because they're not supposed to do that, but they do a little bit. And he goes, mate, what are you doing here? And I said, what are you talking about, dude? I'm here for the Legion. You know, I watched the YouTube videos, whatever. I saw what it's about. And he goes, man, you come from the greatest military in the world. He goes, look around. He goes, don't you see what this is? And I said, well, what do you mean, man? He goes, it's a fucking soup kitchen, dude.
It's like it's a
And
hostel.
when it is basically a hostel.
That's what I'm
People that come- This is a crazy story that I like to tell people, man, because this really goes to show how we look at things and how we look at people and the parts we have to play. Now, we had a buddy that we called India. He was from India, so we just called him that. We're like, what's up, India? You know, he was our friend.
Yeah.
He got put into that first company with my Australian buddy. Now, this guy was young. He was probably in his early 20s or whatever. and had already had a college education. His family pooled their money together to send him there
Yeah, you're
because
right,
it was his
Watson.
intent to basically support his family back in his home country, which a lot of those guys do. Okay. Well, can you guys still hear me? It sounded like I just cut out.
No, I still hear you.
Okay, sorry
You're
about
good.
that. I just heard something in these buds. So when we got there and they got selected or whatever, they told India, they said, look, man, you're a smart dude, you're educated, get through the training and we're going to bring you back here to this processing center to do admin stuff, to do paperwork, things like that. You know, they basically told him, like, just get through the training and you're good to go, man. One of the first marches they did, the dude fell back because he wasn't a military type dude, guys. I mean, let's be honest. Not everybody's cut out for it. This dude necessarily wasn't to be a grunt, let's say. He fell out of the hump and everybody else had to carry this dude's pack. Well, they had an adjutant that was kind of like their platoon commander, whatever you want to call it. This dude was an absolute psychopath. And they started beating the absolute shit
Yeah,
out of
the
India
Watchman, you're
almost every day. We went to training in the fall, so we were at the farm in around November, October. It was getting cold. Every day they would wake up and they would douse India with a bucket of water. One time my Australian buddy told me, he goes, bro, I got up to take a leak at like 3 o'clock in the morning. He said, I walk into the shitter. He said, and there's 2 corporals and a sergeant beating the absolute piss out of India on the ground, kicking him. You know, he would get up in the morning, dude, and he'd be so swollen in his face and lips. They'd go, what happened? Did you get stung by a bee? Did bees sting you? You know, they were just letting this dude know. They told him straight out, there's nothing you can do that's going to help you get through this training. We're not letting you become a Legionnaire. It's not happening. And the Australian was telling me this story, man, and he was getting kind of down about it. He goes, dude, I almost broke down crying. He goes, because India's having me write this letter to send for him back to his family. You know, like saying, like, dear uncle, I'm so sorry that I've let the family down. Like, this dude never quit, guys. He never gave up. They forced him to not be part of it because in their eyes he showed weakness, right? And I started looking at such a perspective, dude, of like my experience in the Marines and how I'd talk to people and the training I'd had, and I go, man, you know, doesn't this guy have a place where he could fit in? I mean, they already want him to do paperwork. It's like, don't you guys want to get paid on time and have your paperwork, your leave papers done on time and done properly by a smart guy? Like,
Yeah,
we look
the
at the dude
Watson,
like,
that's a
okay,
good
you're
one.
not cut out to be a grunt per se, maybe, but you don't have any value here whatsoever. And I started looking at people differently at that time. You know, not that I didn't to begin with, but it was part of the journey, part of the process. And I really started kind of honing in on those things and individuals and their skills and how we look at skill sets. Because that wasn't right that happened to that dude. There was no reason for it.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because was everybody around you like training to be in the field, or was that an option for him to do like the paperwork? And
We were still. This is the thing, Gil. We were still going through basically the initial basic training
Kim,
is
you're
kind of
absolutely
combined
correct.
with like a specialty school.
The real saying is, thou shalt not.
to be.
Right. So he just had to get through this dude, and he was going to live in basically a barracks and do a 9 to 5 every day. You know what I mean? This guy was not ever going to be sleeping on the ground, passing ammo.
Microsoft Excel and shit like
Exactly, dude. Exactly. He was a smart guy. I mean, a dumb grunt like me, man, I'm horrible with computers. What? I have no business being around them. But what are you going to do? Have to take a guy from the grunts to do your paperwork because you don't have enough guys like India was? It didn't make any sense the way it was set up. But
Get back into that like narcissist, like, you know what I mean? Just people taking their trauma out on like, you know, unnecessarily on somebody else.
You're doing all right, bro.
it falls in line with the dark personality triad, Gil. And if you look at so like, Young talked a lot about phallic symbols, dude. And
How many
you
books
can see that now.
have you read? I know his books are hard to get through.
One of the best books that I will recommend that's the easiest to get through, because I'll be honest, some of the psychology that the archetypes and the unconscious, and some of those things can be difficult because of the language, that was used. It's so old, and you got to translate things sometimes. But those are good
Like
books.
1,000,000,000 pages.
And Alchemical Studies is a good one. The one I highly recommended was his last writing, and it's an actual combination of 5 books in one. It's the first short book is his, and then the remaining 4 are his contemporaries that studied with him, and it's called Man and His Symbols. And this talks about the archetypes and symbolism, and we have to go back all that way to understand how, number one, our personality has become structured, and we've structured the whole structures. We've got a banking structure, we've got a judicial structure, we've got a societal structure,
How we need
and all those things. Right, and all those things come together, manipulated together also. And when you get back into the archetype, that original pattern, and we start looking at it like that, and we go all the way back to, for example, I use an analogy of, for those of you that have seen 2001, A Space Odyssey, the 10-minute scene, The Dawn of Early Man. And it shows the guy, and he finds a bone, and he's kind of toying with it, and then he realizes if I hit something a little bit harder, I can get movement, and then it progresses through, the whole scene where now we have a guy unaliving a different guy from a different group, and they're all together, and that was the first kind of conflict, and
Yeah, is that
what we
a
have
good
in
movie?
this world, it's really wild. That was a Stanley Kubrick film.
Yeah. Because
So,
I wanted to watch it, but I don't know. This, and again, this is, my girlfriend told me it's kind of just aesthetic. It just looks kind of cool, but also, she probably didn't understand it. But
that could be true, dude. And I needed a little help myself, so I found out about that movie from a guy named Bill Cooper. Bill Cooper talked about that scene, to use an analogy also, and then I kind of started pairing it with what I learned about psychology and the dark personality triad. If you watch it and then you read kind of the interpretations people give, it's really cool to start brainstorming, because I like to get different people's perspectives and then think about it too.
Yeah.
And I'm not such a great deep thinker, man, that I can figure all these abstract things out, because it is a little abstract. I mean, in that 10-minute scene, there's no words, dude. You're watching the whole time, and you're just observing all these different things. But, you have to watch it several times. And, for example, you'll notice at the beginning scene, they don't have any weapons, right? And they're crowded around a little puddle, drinking water. And it's there you go. That goes all the way back to the first piece of real estate that needed to be conquered, that someone had, that somebody else wanted. So it's how do I get it? And it shows that transaction. And then it goes to the next scene where the guy's got the bone. And then it progresses throughout. So it's interesting. It's definitely an interesting movie.
yeah.
I can't begin to say I understand all of it, because I don't, but I definitely use that 10-minute scene when I'm talking about the dark personality triad and the archetypes. All these things have been with us from the beginning.
Yeah,
it's been part of our evolution.
Yeah, I didn't sleep a lot last night, but there's an abundance mindset, and then there's
Absolutely, Kim.
Anti-abundance.
You're absolutely correct.
and just kind of
Right.
mindset of kind of take.
Yeah, man. It's
Versus
Yeah,
faith.
part
the
of-
Watchman, you're right too.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chuck.
Fear
Sorry, guys.
versus faith.
Yeah. You're scared that someone else is gonna take this water source, or they're not. You know what I mean? Or I need this more than they do.
And that's why I love the Native American culture so much, man, and I've studied it my whole life. I know people, they'll say I'm full of shit, but my great-grandmother was quarter Cherokee. I'm waiting on my ancestry results to come back right now to see if it's even still in my blood. Most likely it's not. It's been depleted, but it's definitely in my heritage. I grew up hunting and fishing. I just canned tomatoes last night out of my garden, planted raspberries. I do think I garden, I can that stuff. I hunt and I eat that stuff. I fish.
Yeah, it's
It's
definitely in
What's
you.
that, buddy?
It's definitely in you enough.
That's
You know.
exactly the way I live, brother. That's exactly the way I live.
Yeah, and
certain
if we all
people,
started
like-
getting back to that.
Yeah, and certain people, they say, oh, well, you can just be culturally, Indian, American Indian, but they don't actually do anything, you know what I mean? Because to be American, it's pretty laborious, it's pretty, you gotta do things, you gotta go outside, you can't just go online and just like claim it, you know what I mean?
You gotta live it.
Right.
So I
You gotta live it.
I respect that, and I have, a lot of the blood, but my mom brought us out here and didn't really practice traditional stuff, so I didn't even get into, the culture necessarily until, I was like 29, a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But it's
I
like,
love talking to JP, Gil. I mean, that dude, he'll speed you up quick because he's in tune with it, man. He's connected to the earth. You can hear it when he talks.
at the end of the day, it happens unconsciously too, because I spend so much time outside. I work with trees, brush. So I'm in Arizona, northern Arizona. I do it's Firewise work. So basically, you strategically kind of clear and thin brush around people's homes, so they don't burn if something were to come. Super hard work. You take down trees, unfortunately, sometimes, but if they're too close and it just doesn't make sense, you do that. You know what I mean? You get cut up, you got sap all over you, you just, you know what I mean? You work with the dirt, you clean it up, you make it look good. It ends up looking like a personal park for whoever you're working for.
Yeah.
And then I looked into my genealogy and I started to, see just how much all these people were full Indian. And then a lot of the men, head of household worked with vegetation as well. And it just goes,
Yeah.
But even unconsciously, even though I grew up pretty much, all white, European friends, skateboarding, that type of thing, it comes through you, whether you like it or not. So, I mean, the fact that you even do the stuff that you do, I think,
Oh, Gil, I still pray over deer. Every deer I take, man, just like that movie, The Last of the Mohicans, at the beginning of the scene.
you are. I mean, it's,
I do
I
the
still
same
do that.
thing, bro. That's crazy.
you have.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I don't even like killing a damn fucking spider in my house, and it's just like,
I try not to, bro. I try to let them outside.
I do too. I catch them in a cup and turn them loose outside.
It goes back to that trope of that old commercial. It was like I don't know what it was, Marlboro or something. It was like some Indian. He cried over like some dude threw a fucking cigarette out the window or something, and he cried. But it's like, yeah, dude, you actually fucking littering pisses me the fuck off.
Me too, dude.
Yeah.
Me too.
So if you
I hate
have
it.
that
And
in you, then you have it in you. And even if
Yeah.
you're not, I mean, you're still fucking whatever that is. Try. I don't even know what it.
Well, Gil, I look at it like this, man. I look at so many people with religion and how they get to pick their religions. Why can't I? Even let's say there is none, and I didn't even have it in my heritage.
Animism.
Let's just say I was.
Animism, right?
Yeah, what would be so wrong with me as a religion picking that one and saying, hey, yeah, I mean, like the 10 Native American commandments I got a poster on my wall. It says, treat the earth and all that dwell thereon with respect. Remain close to the Great Spirit. Show great respect for your fellow beings. Work together for the benefit of all mankind. Give assistance and kindness wherever needed. Do what you know to be right. Look after the well-being of mind and body. Dedicate a share of your efforts to the greater good. Be truthful and honest at all times, and take responsibility for your actions. How could I go wrong with that, man?
You can't.
You know what I mean?
Literally can't. Yeah, you literally.
And it's amazing to me how
Is that
so far away from that.
Those
Is that
are words of
Lakota?
wisdom, man. Those are literally words of wisdom.
Is that Lakota?
Yeah. This is. It
Or,
doesn't say, but it looks like a Plains tribe. He's got two feathers in his hair. And what would be telling that I'm not really sure of is the peace pipe that he's got. He's got one of those. It's the red clay. I forget the name of it.
really suit.
Yeah. There's only a certain area where you can get that red clay, and I think now you actually have to be an actual certified member of a tribe to even dig that stuff up.
Yeah,
I've got it in a book.
People take shit all the time. People go and take petrified wood and stuff like that all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like.
Hey, Angela, how are you doing?
I'm doing okay. How are you?
Pretty good. Welcome to the talk. We're just kind of hanging out.
So, can left and right come together? That's a pretty simple
Yes, ma'am.
answer, huh?
Well, I don't know. What do you think?
Well, it's very easy because the internet's lawless, wireless, invisible programming, and we code perfect using math. Calculator since 1965 near me. So really nothing has changed for people except for innovation fraud. You know,
All right.
fraud, waste, abuse, it's all a 911 issue if you're allocating big bucks, don't you think?
Yeah.
Amen. I like that word, except for it's a woman too.
I agree. I know the history of that. That's true. I wish more people did know the history of that word.
It really is a team effort to get ahead in any day.
Yeah.
I mean,
We have
going
to
it
do
alone is
together.
going
We
to be a
can't.
pretty sad situation. See, the internet, because it's lawless, it's confused quite a few people about life and death matters. And those matters are literally life and death. So, as a system operator, every system writes itself as need be. Since 2017, through the state of Maine, for sure, I met with Tulsi Gabbard recently to just explain to people further that publishing is how we roll here near Maine, in Maine. I'm a Bostonian that moved to Maine upon the birth of my second, and it's just different. I'm anonymous, 29 years alcohol free, and I brought product to market during the rise of the internet.
Congratulations on that, Angela.
Yeah, no, it's not a big deal. Post-traumatic stress are extremely dangerous, so doctors would never psychologically allow for people to harm a person in stress. So stress are just, we're not disorderly, nor do we have disorders unless we're not getting what we need. And what we need is simple ER backup, 911 services, all that stuff. And so that's what we're sticking with. That's who we fund. Our team are alchemists. And what's an alchemist? Is whatever you want it to be to get richer.
Okay.
Yeah, and everyone has a different idea
I
of
don't
what's
know.
rich.
I don't know, Angela.
What's that?
I don't know. You just said a lot of words, and a lot of it made 20% of sense. Not to be rude.
How many percent?
Hello. You said a lot of things, but it didn't seem like it meant a whole lot.
All right, well, I'll
No
simplify
offense.
then. The Federal Reserve, all right, is money, and the money that people speak about in the Federal Reserve Annual, the money allocation, is by companies that people own.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So everyone has a unique entity, which is themselves, to overcome fraud, waste, and abuse of the system since 2017, but for me, since 1963 locally. Army is 24/7 fluent. And the last job I did was for Microsoft. So it's basically just when you're going to catch up to making sure your money is still there, your land's still there, because the opposite has been happening on demand, and that's illegal. In 2015, every person in the world, if they're in business, trading of money, big bucks, was notified that we're not going to trade with traders. Apps are just lawless communication. I'm talking with you, total strangers. But in reality, when you talk with people and you're talking business, it's about how to make business better. not to how to psychologically take over another system by using wireless fraud, poisonous products,
Yeah, of
etc.
course. Yeah, some people still do great business. I'll tell you a price. I'll do this work and good work, and then you know that's what I do, and I live in that world. So I'm not
Yeah.
sure. I mean,
Money is if you trade money with someone in a day's time, that's accountability and responsibility to do good business. And if you're not doing good business, everything is tracked, everything is surveilled. No one in Maine is going to abet ERs that take in people to ruin the brain, to ruin the mentality, ruin the sexuality, ruin the
I'm not sure. Jeremiah,
physicality,
I don't know. What's going on.
spirituality of a person in any 8-hour period of time.
All right, well, let's kind of think about that for a minute, Angela. We'll get back to that. It's very interesting. I followed some of it, but I won't lie. I got lost a little bit on a couple things there, but we'll come back to it. Ultimately, you know, we're trying to get to, can the left and right come together? Can we start looking at things from a different perspective?
I
and gain
understood
a
some of what she
perception
was saying,
of
but I had a hard time keeping up also.
Yeah, let's just restart. I don't know what.
Yeah, well, that's okay. And Angela, this is not a knock on you.
You're not
I'm
gonna
assuming
kick
you're
it,
probably an artist. Yeah. No, you might have an artist mind like me, and sometimes that happens to me too when I'm trying to explain things to people that, you know, maybe they get we're just looking at it differently. But we'll come back to that.
Okay, well, I actually need to go because I'm very busy today. I have to feed some
Okay.
people. But listen, the deal is
Okay.
this. I run the Peace Train. I run the Peace Train connected to the musical industry in Tulsi Gabbard, Peace Headset, and other people. And yes, I can
Okay.
understand this woman wrote right here that she's been victimized since youth birth.
Kick her, please, dude. God, she just came in here
Yeah.
and took a shit.
She's on
I'm
something,
not sure what's
man.
going on.
Yeah, she came in here and just took a shit on us, and we had to, you know what I'm saying? Then that's why, fuck, dude. That was crazy.
Yeah, dude, I try to give people a chance and do it in a
Yeah.
respectful way, but you know, you're gonna come across some things, and I don't know that woman. I don't know what's going on with her.
And I tried. I said, I just don't,
Yeah,
don't.
she may be going mantic right now. Like you said,
Yeah.
you don't know. We really don't know.
I know,
what's going
yeah,
on.
but we weren't mean to her.
No.
But still,
No, absolutely not. She had a.
still, we don't have to
we let her-
fucking chew that shit up. You know what I'm saying? She
No.
shit. Now,
Yeah, I don't know where she was going with that because we're, I get it. 'Cause I get into spiritual
Man,
stuff
yeah,
too,
that
but
was a
more
seat.
of a community type thoughts of it.
Hey, guys.
you have this El Pelagroso person that that's been in here for like ever. Do they not want to come up and talk? He's been.
I don't know, Pelagroso. You're welcome to come up, brother. I sent you an invite. He's just talking about civil rights and stuff. I mean,
No idea. You don't
I
have
don't.
video, but you've been
Yeah.
saying things for a long time.
That
What's
woman
that?
sound like the CEO of Crackle Barrel.
Yeah, I don't know. I just, I think that the more these things become aware to people, if we do it again in this way, in conversations like this, in a non-inflammatory way, we can start maybe gaining some traction. Because I don't have any problems with anybody on the right or anybody on the left. I mean, I think there's parts of these personality characteristics and mental health issues and the archaic structures of our personalities that we just find in people in general all over the world, and they've always been there. And I see past those things. I don't let race divide me. I don't let all these other issues divide me from people that I care about and that I know feel the same way about it.
Yeah, and you shouldn't. I mean, what you say and what you do, should be how you're kind of, how people react to, and not even what you do, because what you do might not even be necessarily who you are, unless it's, egregious. But yeah, I mean, we just let that lady do what she, you got to be an empath, but you can't be an empath to the point of like taking that psychological damage that you were talking about before. But
Yeah, exactly.
that was fucking crazy. I don't know what the fuck.
That was nuts, bro.
I have no. That was crazy.
She's back in the.
I
She's
don't
back
know.
in the chat. I'm not sure, Angela. Angela,
I don't even know. That's a fucking that. And that was crazy.
yeah. No, we're trying to build the community though. That's for sure. And bridge those gaps because it can be done, man. We gotta start having these conversations and getting to know one another. You know, getting to understand one another.
We get other people in here. Just like the live, I heard that helps the algorithm.
Yeah, if we like it, I go through here and I'll try to invite people as we go, but it's one of those things, dude, that a lot of people, I think, are so addicted to the dopamine they're getting from the toxicity that it's almost like people that have come from a traumatic home. If you've ever understood anything about trauma bonds, if you've come from a dysfunctional home where you're used to that dysfunction,
Yeah, for sure. You get dopamine from doing like
toxic shit and being in that, so you get into a relationship with like a good girl and it's like, man, this is abnormal to me. I don't feel comfortable because there's no arguing, there's no toxicity, there's no, outburst of emotional attacks and things like that. And it's almost like you can you can self-sabotage and you'll go back to that toxicity because you're uncomfortable with a normal environment, man, and stuff like that. And I have too.
Yeah, and like, for instance, a good buddy of mine, he just said the only race division we should have is the lanes on the drag strip.
Yeah, I get that. I mean,
Makes sense. That's my
there's no
buddy
reason
Moose
for
Man, That's really,
yeah.
they're divide and conquer, man. It's all this tactic in the book, bro.
it's more behavioral based,
Yeah.
I judge people on their kind of long term behavior, not what they look like, because a black neighbor can move in, and be the best neighbor you ever had.
Yeah.
The white, whatever, whoever, perfect, because wet
It's
dreams
just people, man.
next door and be a fucking nightmare. You know what I mean? So it's like you can't just judge people off of shit like that.
Exactly.
And the fact that we even have to say that anymore in this day and age is outrageous.
It is. It's sad.
Yeah,
It's sad, man.
we've gone back in time, man. We've been set back, and I don't. I mean, it's hard to calculate that and to say, oh, this is how much, but it's interesting to wonder about how much could it be. I mean, how much have we set ourselves back as a society, spiritually, in our own individual growth by what's really been going on for a long time? But I really hone in on the last 10 years. That's when it's really ramped up. Especially politically and with social media, the different apps that started coming out, because TikTok wasn't around back then. I mean, 2015.
Yeah, I didn't get it till like 2020, I don't think.
I didn't get it till
Like COVID.
even, I think, within
Ed.
the last couple of years, man, but because I'm more of a people person, man. I want to be in contact with people, in the room, talking to each other,
For sure.
things like that, doing things together. We're going out or we're fishing together. Sitting around a fire, man.
Damn.
Sitting around a fire is one of the most meditative things to do, activities you can do if you do it with the right people, and you're just kind of vibing.
Or just be nice, like even if I've had a bad morning and I go into, say, a gas station and the line is backed up, the lady she's learning whatever, I'm still going to be the guy to go in there and like crack a joke and like try, make her laugh and,
to support each other, man.
Not
That's what
people
we're doing.
not enough people can do that and just, you know what I mean? So selfish. It's just like, oh, fuck, I had to wait 5 minutes. And it's just like, dude, yeah,
Right.
who cares? But you also don't have to stand behind this register in this tiny gas station all day. At least.
Making like barely any money. you know?
At least, at like 70, 60 too. It's like,
Yeah, man. It's tough
At
to
least
think
go
about
in there
when you
and
think
do the-
about that.
at
The
least go
cost
in
of
there.
living, man. The cost of living is out of control. I'm telling you, I'm about to lose it just trying to keep ends meet, man.
And that's true, all American. But it's like Gil's point. Saying a kind word is free. It doesn't cost a thing, man. You know, we can give that out
Exactly.
all day long and encourage people all day long. You know, and be positive and build people up. And it's free. It doesn't cost anything. And the thing is, you get something out of it too. You know, it'll make you feel good. Saying something and watching that person's face light up, knowing that those kind words you said might have been the only thing they heard all day that was positive or encouraging, or they're coming from an abusive home where they're not used to being talked to in a positive manner. That could have
Yeah,
just
that might
made
be
your
the
whole
only time
day.
they laugh, you know, for the next 4 hours or whatever.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's like, why not spread that instead of saying, well, you know what? I'm going to go in there and I'm going to be the reason that person feels bad for the next 4 hours or the next day, you know, because it spreads. It spreads. When that person feels bad because of the words I use, now they're going to go spread that back to their families and their friends. They're going to spread that shit around.
But I'm
Yeah, it's like
noticing.
It's
there was a
web.
gap in the fucking, you know, shitty people in their line. At least they had to deal with like 10 shitty people, and then there was one person cracked a couple
Yeah, just break
jokes
up
and
the monotony.
wished them, you know, actually legitimately wished them that, you know, their morning will get better.
Yeah, no doubt. U.S. Marine, how's it going, brother? Semper Fi.
Hi, bro. How are you?
Pretty good, man. How you
Yeah,
doing
you
today?
can't starve in Florida, bro.
Good. You think we're going to bring it back together left and right or what?
Oh, I don't know about that.
No?
It's too hot there.
It's,
to fish.
it's, I mean, we're so divided. I'm a conservative, 100%.
Okay.
I live in an ultra liberal state, and it's just what's going on in Massachusetts is just unbelievable. I'm just conservative, you know.
Armadillo and a half shell.
Massachusetts spent over $1 billion of taxpayer money housing illegal immigrants. That's just one topic amongst many, you know. So I don't know. Left and right is so divided. It is what it is.
Okay.
I tend to mind my own business and live my dream. I'm a retired combat Marine. I get my pension
Yes,
every
sir.
month, and I just take it a day at a time, sir.
Yeah, man.
Free service.
I understand. I understand.
Thank you for your support and Semper Fi, my brother.
Yes, sir. Semper Fi.
Sir, I only fought Wildland Fire. I'm not
Well-
military.
Yeah, it's all right. You just said you fought. What's that?
Wildland Fire.
Oh, God
Yeah,
bless you.
that's a huge
Yeah, I tell you
job.
that. Yeah, don't ever underestimate that, sir. That takes a lot of skill and a lot of courage and a lot of guts. So I thank you for what you do.
Yeah, that's a very
Absolutely,
dangerous
especially
job.
those guys right now, man. You guys are saving, doing your best to save as much as you can, and it's nonstop on y'all. It's commendable to be. I know I couldn't do it, Gil. At my age now and the back problems I've had, dude, there's no way I could put those hours in under
Yeah.
under those conditions. I couldn't do
It's,
it.
It's a dangerous job, bro.
It's something you can't just say you do. You have to do it every day. Like every day.
Yeah.
Well, like I say, thank you so much. That's
No, thank you. Yeah. But
What did you do in the Corps, my brother? What did you do?
What's that? You talking to me? Yes.
Yeah, what did you do in the Corps?
I was in 0311, but I think we mentioned it, or we talked about this the first time we spoke on this live. I got stationed in Indian Head, Maryland, at a small naval base called the Naval Surface Warfare Training Center.
Yeah, I
There was
know.
only there, so I was non-deployable for 3.5 years.
Wow.
I got sent there and I couldn't get orders. That was part of the reason I got out. And then I joined the Guard in 07, which is a long story how that happened. I actually got recalled like 2 weeks later, but couldn't go back in the Marines because I had signed that contract.
Right.
And then I did those 3 years. I was also a grunt. I was 11B, but I didn't deploy with them. And then I went to France when I did their basic training, and then I came back home. But I did a lot of training,
Good for
you know,
you.
but never got to get in a fight, which that used to beat me up
Yeah.
a lot mentally. because that's what we train for. And,
Yeah.
and it's like I used to tell people, it's like you at that young age and that mindset, you're thinking, I was kind of less than. And as a grunter, that experience, that might be true.
You're
But
not.
now that I understand the bigger picture of why we were there to begin with, and the system that made that all in place, I'm glad I didn't go do anything
Yep.
over there, man. Personally.
I hear you. Listen, I got you, and you don't feel that way, man. I fought in Fallujah, Ramadi. It was not fucking pretty. Believe me, there's long-lasting scars there. I was at Helmand Providence in Afghanistan. Do not feel guilty whatsoever. Do not feel like you're less of a Marine just because you didn't get deployed. You're a United States Marine. You earned your EGA, and we all walk together arm in arm as brothers. And you served in the
Yes,
grunt,
sir.
which is not an easy MOS.
I appreciate you saying. No, it's not, man. And especially for a little short guy like me, dude, because on those marches they put us where they're not supposed to, all the way in the back, and they put the tallest guy in the front, and all I did was run the whole time.
Yep.
It was a good experience, man. I made some great friends, brothers and sisters, and I'll cherish that forever. But it was my occupation was different, dude. I was there to be an observer, I believe, and kind of to talk about these things that I'm talking about now, because I learned a lot about psychology by all the people I knew there,
Sure.
and some of the things, so
Sure.
it's kind of interesting. But I wanted to welcome Army Sister. How are you this morning, or this
Good.
afternoon now?
Well,
Army
I have a bunch of military questions to ask.
Okay.
So I don't know if you guys have seen the news of what happened yesterday in Minneapolis.
I did.
Yes.
So I have kids. I've got nieces and nephews who are going back to school next week, back in North Carolina, and they came
You
to me
broke up,
this
man.
morning because we're on a family vacation. We're doing a family reunion. They came to me this morning, screaming at me, begging me not to send them to school, not to go to school ever again.
Okay.
How can we keep our children safe? How can we prevent school pupillings from happening? How can we prevent it from happening on college campuses? How can we prevent it from happening at malls, grocery stores, libraries, shopping outlets,
Armed
Like,
security guards,
or at
man.
campgrounds?
I think it's a multifaceted answer to
Homeschool.
that,
That's
though.
what I'm doing with my
Army.
grandbabies.
I don't think it's just one thing we can do. We have to look at a lot of things. Okay, and I've talked about this before. We have to start looking at people, but not as okay. We look at mental illness, and we sometimes can push these people into corners where they do things. All right, I'm not saying that always happens. I'm not saying that's always the case, but sometimes it does. When we start building a bigger community and we start understanding one another better, and we start getting to know one another better and taking care of one another better, those numbers go down. One of the biggest important things, and I know this young kid, well, I mean, I guess he was 23 years old yesterday that did that.
Yeah.
So his whole life, I didn't get a cell phone until I was 18 years old in 2002. I was 18. That was the first time I had a cell phone when I got back from boot leave. That guy has had that technology his entire life. His
Yep,
brain
yes, ma'am.
developed that way with it, okay? So that's a big part of it. This technology that we use and the way we use it is a big part of it. Another thing is something I've talked about, I may have talked about it with U.S. Marine, was there was a game when I was in the early 2000s, maybe 2004 or 5.
Game Boys?
And it was called First to Fight. Okay, this video game was for the old Xbox, and it was actually a developmental training aid for Marine Corps grunts for us to practice infantry tactics. But they turned it into a video game. Okay, and I played the video game. We played it in the barracks, whatever. Kids have developed with that in their minds and on a subconscious level every single day that they've been on those games for sometimes 12, 16 hours a day in, day out. That's a huge problem with it, because it's instilling violent tendencies in people, whether
Exactly.
they know that or not.
Now,
Hey, but Laura,
People,
I would
and
like
they
to interject
glorify-
one thing. I've been trying to,
Sure.
it's a shame, our schools, we can't protect our children, but we can protect our banks, our politicians, our courthouses, but we can't protect our own schools. That's a damn shame.
Exactly. All American. I
can.
fully agree with you. I want to say this.
Movement.
So I grew up in a military family. I lost family members between Iraq and Afghanistan.
Yes, ma'am.
And my grandparents are both veterans. They both served between Panama and Honduras.
God
And
bless.
I went to my grandparents this morning, and so did my nieces and my nephews. And we all sat there and this morning at our campground where we're staying, they had a pew pew drill this morning. The state police came, the EMS, the fire department, the U.S. Marshals, the federal agencies. Our whole campground had a full-on drill because of what happened yesterday. Campgrounds are now implementing drills, and that is sad.
It is sad.
It is.
It is.
It is.
I mean,
These video games.
Go ahead, U.S. Marine.
These video games are glorifying, deleting people. I can tell you right now, as a reconnaissance Marine who served in Fallujah and Ramadi, that I deleted some people. And it's not glamorous. It's not glorious. These people that are playing these games online think it's the best thing ever. If you ever see it in real life, I bet half the people would vomit. So the other thing is that this person that did it was trans. And I think that, and I don't want to put down that community, but I think studies have shown that there's something not right upstairs with people that want to transition. That there's some serious mental health issues.
I mean, Marine, you're right. And I will say this is, I used to be EMT. I used to be a firefighter.
God bless you.
From the age from 17 to the age of 30. I'm now 30. I turned 31 next July 4th. But
God
the fact
bless
is, I have seen things that no one should ever see.
Right.
And the fact is that All American is right, because the fact is, how many more of our children and our loved ones and our moms and dads and teachers and firefighters and cops and everyone, how many people have to go into schools protecting our children and not knowing if they're going to come home at the end of the day?
EMTs should be paid double.
Let me ask
Just one at a time. Guys.
Let me ask the panel a question. We have some veterans in here. How many? I have a license to carry, and I also own a few heavy-duty pew-pews, and I'm in a very liberal state where it's almost impossible to get a license.
And are you in
How
Delaware?
many veterans in here? I'm in Massachusetts.
Make your point real quick, U.S. Marine, because I want to get to Judy.
I think like 6, 5.
You got it. All right, so here's my point real quick. How many veterans here would volunteer 10, 15 hours a week of their own time to stand guard voluntarily, armed, doesn't have to be a rifle, a concealed sidearm, concealed sidearm, and just go ahead and stand watch over that school? I would do it in a heartbeat, and I'm going to mute.
I would do it. I would do it because I have the training. I would do it.
Army says, hang on real quick, because this is something that was talked about several years ago, actually. And there are several veterans that volunteered for it and told people, like, hey, we'll do whatever we have to do to protect the children. And there's people that didn't go for it. And it's because I think, and I'm not going to get into conspiracy stuff today, because like I said, too much. Like, I want to talk to Judy here next. But there's ways to fix this problem, Army sis, and if people really wanted to come together and do it, we could fix it, and it wouldn't be a problem. But you also have to look at one thing real quick before I go to Judy. You have to look at how we've been treating each other for the last 10 years, especially on things like this app and in our lives, and how we've been talking to one another. It's created a resistance towards one another and a gap, and it's created this isolation, this animosity.
Jeremiah, I will say this is, I was at Dick's morning.
Cut you off for a second, but it's been one way communication is how we've been talking to people for the last 10 years. We don't want a dialogue. We don't want to have an intellectual back and forth debate. We don't want, you know what I mean? We don't want productive conversation. We just want to kind of get our stuff out, get our
Exactly.
anxiety out,
I mean-
get our anger out. We don't want to take someone else's anger and process it and say, hey, you know, maybe this or that. It's we've lost like dialogue.
Exactly.
No
I
doubt.
mean,
No
I
doubt.
would say this, Jeremiah. So last week I was with my grandparents at Dick's Sporting Goods, Staples, and we were because we were getting my nieces and nephews stuff for school last week. And guess what they had at Walmart, Staples, Dick's Sporting Goods, at the malls? They're selling level 3A backpacks with armor in them. They're
Yeah.
backpacks that turn into vests.
Right, but somebody's making money off that.
Yeah.
You know, it's that's how they create these markets, guys. They'll have a problem like this that we know people want fixed. Look, I'm a proponent of the Second Amendment, but I'm tired of seeing this with what's going on with kids, and I'm
So
tired
am I.
of seeing people not doing anything about it. And as a supporter of the Second Amendment, that makes me look at all the other people around me differently now and how their mentality is. Because I'm a supporter of the Second Amendment. There's people that don't belong owning those pew-pews. They need them. They don't need them. They're not mentally stable enough. And we've saw evidence of that all the time. And then the more we get emotionally manipulated through the TV, through these apps, through people at work that we don't like their opinions, the more people get manipulated with that, they snap and then they do something. You know, and then people go, why did that happen? They don't get it. You know, I mean, we're abusing each other, and we do it verbally on a daily basis, and we think it doesn't matter. But real quick, I wanted to get to Judy. Judy, good afternoon. How are you today? You still there, Judy?
Well, she's not. I'm going to interject really quick, and this is exactly how the public was before Iraq and Afghanistan. This is exactly how we were built up just before then. So I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, Iran, I guess, is what they want.
I think that's what it is, dude, and I think a lot of it has to do with Muslim International Banking is one of the last institutions to offer zero interest loans, and that's been a big problem with the banking industry for a long time. And I think that's why we've had such a problem. Well, there's a couple of reasons why, but the one of the main people we support, that's been a huge priority of theirs, and we've just kind of fallen into it. But what has it gotten us, dude? What has it gotten us?
And was Germany trying to start their own bank right before World War II?
That had a lot to do with what was going on at that time.
Yeah, we don't like other people controlling their own money. We don't like that.
Exactly.
Right,
And I
man.
mean, go ahead.
I mean, Jeremy, I would say this is nowadays. I look at all the kids going back to school, and I think to myself, my nieces and my nephews, or my kids, they are scared out of their mind, thinking they're not going to come home at the end of the day. And because on top of it is, like U.S. Marine knows and All American knows, is even if we're first responders, do we come home at the end of the day? Are we gonna?
Right.
Are we like? I mean, like in North Carolina, the firefighters and the paramedics and the EMTs, they carry on when they go on shifts, but the rest of the country doesn't have that yet. The only two states that have legal and illegal carry is in North Carolina and in South Carolina. But the fact is that is like, I mean, like all the kids in between Delaware, North Carolina, South Carolina, Maryland, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut. I mean, like all the kids I look at, because our campground is right next to a military base. We're right next to Dover Air Force Base. And the fact is that, yes, the military guards our campground, thank God. But the fact is what can we do to keep our kids safe, even when they're going to school, out of school, the YMCA's, the shopping malls, the shopping outlets, the grocery stores.
I think you guys that have the time, you guys that are retired that have the time, have the permits. I think you guys just have to push harder to be able to be there.
Exactly.
And the
Somebody
moral,
needs
Tell
and the moral of the story
the
is unarmed
administrators
and
that's what
helpless.
you want.
Sorry.
Well,
Honestly, I don't have kids, but if I did, they'd be homeschooled. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
And that's
I'm not
Gil.
racist.
That was my next point. Real quick, and then I want to let All American and U.S. Marine talk. They've got something to say, but real quick, I wanted to add to Gil's point because that's what I was getting ready to say to you, Army sister. Is if we did it all together, okay? If we did it all together, we're en masse. These parents said, okay, we're pulling our kids out of school, and you're not getting our tax dollars anymore to pay for it, to pay the salaries, to do all those things. And you make them understand that by me taking my kid and educating them myself, we're not going to pay you for those services anymore. So you're not going to get that money. When you start making money talk with these people, they'll start responding. And
They're going
it's
to be scared
unfortunate
of what
how
you're
it is.
teaching them, too. They're going to be scared if you have a range class, at 11.
Yeah.
I mean, I know.
Exactly.
I mean, Jeremiah, I know some of the schools have the JRTC program. They have the range in the school. I know that they have the Kevlar the Kevlar stuff that they use for the inside. I was looking at the school down in Florida, the Douglas School, where they had the last one also, and I'm saying to myself, if we could have the JRTC programs in every single school across the country, maybe those kids can keep other kids safe.
Well,
That's not a bad way to look
but
at
they're
it.
not. They're not going to go. They're not going to go to those schools. They're not going to go to those schools that you're talking about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we gotta look at what you mentioned
It's
also.
like trying to shoot a bullet at a bulletproof school. They're not going to do that. So
And it shouldn't be just the
It's
schools we're thinking about either, dude. We got to think about, like you said, going to the store. We just had
shopping outlets.
a grandfather and his 4-year-old granddaughter the other day for no reason. I told my dad a while back, I said, I really don't want you going to the store by yourself, dude, because I'm going to go and I do carry, but I feel bad because my dad is 73 years old. He's a disabled veteran, and I'm going, is this guy going to be driving in on his cart? Because he's in one of those mobile carts, and somebody just comes over and cracks him in the head or something like that for no reason.
I'm back.
We shouldn't have to have these institutions. We shouldn't have to have the JRTC in the
Yeah,
school
but
to
why?
keep people
Yeah.
safe.
Exactly.
Okay. There's something that's changed in culture, and I've listened to my dad talk about this for years. He grew up in a small town in Ohio and talks about, I think he was born in 1951, and talks about being 12 years old walking through the streets of Covington, Ohio with a .22 slung across his back, and they used to go, on a live small game, and we ate it and stuff like that in my family, so it wasn't, it wasn't just a sadistic act or whatever. There was used to it, but yeah, but my dad said I used to walk down Main Street and nobody would have said a word. You used to have people that had pew-pews in the back of their trucks going to high school and on the racks and stuff. Our culture has changed, and it's because we've gotten away from nature. We've gotten away from spiritual beliefs. We've gotten away from community. We've gotten away from understanding one another and building relationships with one another and understanding and finding these mutual things in our lives that we can agree on and build upon. We don't do that anymore. These phones have isolated us.
Exactly. I mean, Jeremiah, I will say this: I'm going to quit my job next week. I'm giving up my EMS gear. I'm turning my gear in. I'm saying I'm quitting. I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm not going to fill my head with being burned out and just I can't do it more because the fact is like how many more of our family members have to risk their lives? How many more people have to go in and see?
I know.
yeah, I don't blame her. I don't blame her.
You know what,
You
man?
guys have to deal with the worst possible shit. That's why I never got my EMT for my firefighter stuff or went to structure fires because you guys
But see, this is what they
structure
want.
fire is basically EMT. That's all. That's mostly you don't do fire if you're a structure firefighter.
This is what they want. They want people to.
Yeah,
They
but
want
not
people-
quit. It doesn't matter. It not quit, but you shouldn't have to clean up.
I understand that. But they want the fear to not send their kids to school. Don't send your kid that they want this fear instead.
Where you can defend
I think
them.
there's better
Keep them at home. Keep them at home where you can defend them.
Well, I'm gonna chime in, man. Hey, dude, I work security at a full new strip club, so I'm a man of the world. But you know what? I homeschool my grandkids because they're not going to this damn school. Unarmed and helpless is unarmed and helpless, and I will never understand that. And these Peckerwoods can protect the banks and the lawyers and the politicians, and they can't protect our children. Not.
Yeah, you lost me at the beginning, but you got me back at the end. Yes. Defend your people. Defend
I
your
mean, like,
people.
Yeah.
yeah, but on top of it, I mean, all
Yes, Marine,
Americans.
take care, brother. Thanks for joining.
Love you,
Good talking to you
Marine.
today.
But I mean, all American. You know, because you and me are both first responders, and I will say this is like at the end of the day, I've seen MVAs, MVCs, I've seen unalivements, I've seen school pew-pewings, I've seen burnt people in fires, I've seen just every single thing.
And you did it for fucking $14 an hour. That shit's bullshit.
Yeah. And
You
not to
should-
mention,
yeah.
on top of it, we have no health care, we have no funding, we have no donations coming in.
Fuck that. Yeah, I know.
Like, and on top
That's
of it,
not right.
like, if you're an EMT in the state of New Jersey or in Delaware, guess what? You're not getting paid. Fuck my job. Because the fact is, I'm not sending my kids to school. I'm not sending my nieces and nephews to school knowing, hey, something just happened yesterday, and then we had another pew-pewing last year who was a girl, and then the year before we had another one. I mean, schools are now opening their doors in September, in October.
Yeah, if you need people to tell you that you're justified, you are justified. Alright? If that's what you feel no guilt. That is.
I want to have this person up in a box instead of them talking shit, because honestly,
Feel no guilt. Fuck that. That job sucks. That's like that is one of the worst jobs. And it's for what? It's literally like fucking it's minimum wage, isn't it? It's like
exactly.
really above.
Pretty close, and they're just getting used. You know, they're just getting used up.
Our kids
But you
are
can
getting
look at
used
that.
to
Getting used up to get like puked on and clean up puke and fucking other bodily fluids. So I don't know. You guys all gotta do it, and then I don't know, and then they're just gonna have to pay. Reconfigure the pay.
Exactly, but I want to say this because the fact is I'm on a family campground right now with my entire family, and I sat there because I have a friend of mine who's a military lifeguard here at the campground, and I said to him, because we just had our pew-pew drills here each month, it was really scary to see a pew-pew drill having to go down. It was horrifying.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I don't want to start normalizing that, you know, and it seems like that's what we've been doing over all these years is just normalizing the drills and all these other things we're spending money on. But you know,
I mean, our commander-in-chief, he has the top-notch people protecting him: Secret Service, FBI, DHS, Homeland Security, DHS, HSI. He gets the gold, platinum, and our kids get nothing. Our kids are bodily shields.
Well, these people just don't care about us.
Yeah, unless you have like a private school, they might like pass something for private schools.
Well, they don't care about that. Well, no, because that was a Catholic school, is a private school that those kids were at yesterday, as far as I understand.
Yeah, and they were
Something
praying.
had to pay for. You
And
know,
they were praying.
but
Yeah, well, they might toss one of those in there every now and then, because that's the first one I've heard of in 100 school shootings. They'll toss one in there.
Yeah, usually they don't. I think it being a Catholic school and a religious place, you know, had something to do on that dude's mindset for why he did that, you know. But we'll probably never know for sure what was going through that dude's mind. But
Oh, by the way, Jeremiah. So his manifesto is up on the internet right now.
Oh, okay. Did you read it?
Yes, I did, and because my dad is HSI, my dad actually let me read the whole thing yesterday.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
And it was sick. It was sickening. It was horrifying. It was literally like wanting to puke, wanting to hurl, wanting to fucking scream my head off. It was
Wow.
horrifying. He wanted to go. He wanted to go to campgrounds. He wanted to go to schools. He wanted to go to colleges. He wanted to take out every single school in the United States.
That's wild. But
Yeah.
was there a reason why, Army? Did he say like
No,
did
no.
somebody said
because
something, or he just snapped?
No, he's from what I understand was that he snapped, and that he didn't want to be trans anymore. His mom was pushing him to be trans.
See, now I've talked about this before because this is a huge issue, and this is not me disrespecting anybody out there. If you're in
Hold on
that
a second.
community,
I'm going to cut you off for a second. Jeremiah, does that not sound like some propaganda? And I hate to say it, if, I know people actually probably did pass, but does that not sound like propaganda?
what were you talking
No.
about, bro? I missed the first part. I couldn't hear. There was
The
some
fact
background.
they said he was they were trans, and then their manifesto said they wanted to go back.
Well, here's the thing, dude. So there was a documentary, and I've talked about this with people a lot about this topic, because first of all, again, like I said, this is not in any way against the community at all. I don't feel like these things are being kind of construed the correct way.
But I just think that's a huge decision, and then all of a sudden this person wanted to go back. So
Well, here's the thing, dude. There was a documentary that came out. This was several years ago about a Navy SEAL.
but I know that
His
like,
name was.
he was really young. Yes, of course.
Yeah, hold on, let me get to the point, bro. His name was Chris. I forget his last name. You can
Kyle?
look him up. Chris, no, not Chris Kyle. It wasn't that Navy SEAL. There was a documentary on this dude on Netflix, I think it was, where this Navy SEAL had gotten out and he transitioned. Okay, and it was all about what was going on and what he was thinking about. Some of his team members came and they were interviewed and talked. They were supportive of him, dude. And I would be supportive of a friend that's an adult in that environment that wanted to do. If that's what they wanted to do, I would support that. If that's their decision, that's the way I look at it. Okay, not saying I agree or whatever, but it's not for me to disagree or agree with if it's not my life. I wouldn't do it for myself, but
Yeah, of course.
it is what it is.
I've seen fucking very respectable trans people. Like,
Sure. I mean, they're
I-
normal human beings, dude. But there's something that's going on psychologically with the way they view themselves, okay, and the way the world views them. So
you're right there.
Chris just came out. Probably I saw this on TikTok, maybe like not even a month ago, where he transitioned back. Okay,
Yeah.
and he said because now he found God, and it was all his ego that made him want to do that, made him want to change those things. So there's a huge issue. Now, I've talked about this from a psychological perspective quite a bit, because we know that the human brain doesn't fully develop until you're 25 years old.
Jeremiah,
We know that.
I respect you a lot. Like 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
What's that, buddy? You cut out a little bit.
I have to go for like at least 15 minutes.
Hey, no worries, Gil. I'll be on here again, man, if I'm not on when you come back. This probably won't be a real long session today, but, dude, it's been great talking to you, man. I hope you become a regular on this live, and we can have these conversations, man.
Well, nice to meet you, brother. Nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, you too. It's literally doctors.
Bye, brother.
Telemed.
Be
So I'll be
safe.
right back.
All right, brother.
All right.
But Jeremiah, look what just happened at Fort Stewart, where the African American soldier executed 5 of his soldiers because the fact is that he had special needs. And thank God those 5 soldiers made it. But the fact is that we just had a shooting at Fort Stewart, and now we just had a shooting at a Catholic school yesterday.
Yeah, and it's going to continue. I don't think it's going to go away. What's going to happen is these things are going to continue to gain more control from this government. If we see that and we start coming together, the incidents are going to still go up.
Yeah.
They're going to continue to push these things. And I don't necessarily think this is some operation to, like, you know, control one person and whatever. That could be, but that's not the way I see it. I think when you manipulate people on the mass scale,
Yeah, we're
and
in a
we've been
conversation.
abusing people emotionally on a
mute
mass
the call,
scale, as we've seen and
I
we've
want y'all
done
to
for
hear
the
what
last
it
10
says.
years, you know that there's going to be a certain percentage that are going to snap. You know, you don't have to pinpoint them specifically.
Jeremiah, I was
You can just let it happen.
So Jeremiah, I was also looking at his manifesto, and he also made a huge call to every single mass pew pew in the United States, to all school pew pew shooters. And that rubbed me the wrong way. That made me want to fucking cry. That made me want to fucking say, what the fuck is wrong with this person?
My children are not going to public school. They're not doing it. They're going to be under my protection, under Papa Bear. And that's a dangerous place to be.
I mean, like, and all America knows, because the fact is, he knows that I'm a first responder, and the fact is, I went to college. My background is cybercrime, cybersecurity, foreign affairs, foreign policy, military negotiator, military intelligence, and the fact is, the reason why I chose my career, and now I'm switching careers. I'm going to be early childhood education, child life specialist in a children's hospital, and I'm going to get my paramedic. But now I'm regretting. Do I want to be a paramedic? Do I want to work in hospitals? Do I want to see this shit that's going on in this country? Like,
yeah, it's something to take into account, dude. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta keep that in mind. You know, you've had a lot of trauma.
Yeah, I mean, like, Jeremiah, I remember going to my first school, and because the school that we went to was a Catholic school, the janitor executed the pastor at the school. We had a Halloween dance in the gym, and the school went into a full lockdown at night because we got to sleep over during the Halloween dance. And SWAT team came in, Homeland Security came in, and it was horrifying. Our parents had to come get us.
Yeah, it's getting out of control.
It is.
Yeah, and it's been out of control. It should have never happened at all, but it's continuing to happen. And I'm with you. I'm tired of it. There's a lot of people that are tired of it, and we have to start holding these politicians and these people in charge accountable.
Yeah.
Because they're not. You know, there's things that are falling out of place somewhere along the line. I think, again, like I said, it's a combination of things. I think the social media, I think the way we treat each other, I think some of the systems in place, the people aren't getting care that, I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. Do we really think people are getting the mental health care that they need these days?
No. I will say this as an EMT, no. I will gladly fucking say it. I don't think that there's mental health in this country at all. I think that the mental health care has gone down the toilet. I think
it has. It's a prison system. That's the mental health care system we have. And the unfortunate part about that is we have to wait till somebody does something to get them locked away.
Yeah.
We can look at these things, and I know they're trying to do things. I did see last night there's a guy, he's trying to use AI technology to where, which, you know, I get where they're coming from because of the school incident, but I also don't like where they're coming from because this could open a lot of innocent people up to interpretations and having their rights taken away because of it. So it's something, you know, I get it where they're coming from, but that also makes me question these things on a bigger scale also, is why are they, you know, using them as they are? Because I don't believe using AI to flag a conversation, you know, that could go in a lot of different areas. It's not right.
Exactly.
And I do worry about that.
I mean, Jeremiah, I'll say this. Campgrounds should be off limits, meaning family campgrounds like Jellystone or like Yogi Bear campgrounds or like any kind of family campgrounds where there are kids. Kids and college kids should be off limits. Hospitals should be off limits. Like, if we're going to have this conversation, Congress needs to hear this, and first responders need to first responders need to get together, because I know that there is a first responder community on TikTok. Oh, American, can you remind me this afternoon to get in touch with Cardio Tree, the paramedic guy that hosts the community for first responders? Because I think as first responders and security people, I think we need to have a big ass talk or a convention and say, hey, look, schools are opening, things are going to happen, colleges are opening, dance studios are opening, malls are opening because schools are coming up. I think that we need to have a conversation and say enough is enough. Our kids in our hospitals and our children and college kids are off limits.
Yes, and also, let's not forget, our church is also, I mean,
Yeah, churches are a big target.
they are, so, and unarmed and helpless is unarmed and helpless, and I will never understand that. So, I mean, dude, we got to protect ourselves. You are your first responder. That's why I carry tourniquets, I mean, I carry Quick Clot. I mean, you are your first responder. I carry my ADC.
American, I'm gonna go through I'm gonna get my trauma kit out. I'm gonna tell you what's in mine because I carry mine when we're at the campground because they don't have one. I'm gonna tell you exactly what's in my bag.
Yeah, that's important. That's important stuff to have. I mean, you can save your child's life with a tourniquet and knowing how to use it. That's very important information.
Yeah, Jeremiah. By the way, you should buy one if you have kids. So
yes,
All American. So I have an adult BP cuff. I have a pediatric BP cuff. I've got first aid gear. I have a stethoscope. I have a knee brace. I have gloves. I've got Army combat gauze. I've got cling. I've got I've got a thermometer. I've got medical gloves. I've got rope for childbirths. I have bacitracin. I have burn cream. I have eye wipes. I have my shears that I just got, and they're bulletproof. I have a mirror, so the way if we're going into a dangerous situation, I can see around the corner. I have an apple juice for someone who is diabetic. I've got a pediatric sling, an adult sling. I have a SAM splint. I have survival rack for pew pew incidents. I've got a pen light. I've got string and rope for childbirth. I've got a bulletproof, waterproof stethoscope. You're
definitely prepared, Army sister.
I can tell you, I have sea collars. I have things that go down the throat. I have eye gels. I have everything you can think of.
Yeah, it's kind of a when I got buckets, man, of stuff.
Hey, American, can you send me some the not the SAM points, but I need the tourniquets.
Yeah, I know the best place to get the best tourniquets, the best tourniquet holders I've ever used in my entire life.
Hey, can you DM it those to me because we need them.
Yeah, I'm trying to Bear Independent.
Hey guys, I'm gonna be closing the live down here in a couple of minutes. I just want to let you guys know.
Jeremiah, you should definitely get a trauma bag off the TikTok shop. They have them fully stocked and ready to go. You can put it in your car. You can bring it to a campground, an RV, a cabin. Those are the best things to ever buy. It's called a jump bag, but we call them trauma bags.
Oh, nice.
They come in different colors.
Oh, okay, I'll look into it for sure.
Yeah, you can get ones that are pew pew proof, that are fireproof, that are combat proof. They come in backpacks. They come in jump bags like the one I have.
I'll definitely look into it.
Well, you definitely gotta practice that skill. And the main one, I mean, they're all important, is that tourniquet, man. That tourniquet. Get you a cat tourniquet.
All right, guys, that was great information. It was great talking with you. I sent you both a follow,
Cool,
as I do most people that come on the panel. So I really hope to hear from you guys again, dude. It was great information. I might go on later this evening. I might not, but usually I'm on at like 10 in the morning. So I hope to talk to you guys again. And if you come back, we can keep spreading this information. We can keep getting it out there.
Jeremiah,
building a community.
Jeremiah, I was going to say, you should join the first responder community on TikTok. And on Facebook and on Snapchat.
Yes, well, I don't get into too many of them. I kind of keep it to TikTok, but I'll definitely help you guys out and support each other. So just send me the information or let me know next time we get on there, and we'll have some conversations. But you guys have a good rest of your day. I hope you have a safe day, and we'll talk again soon.
American, I'm going live.
Peace.
Take care, guys.
All right. Well, that was with some people I know and all. Had a nice chat. So I'm glad y'all hung in there. We just was talking about stuff. You know, my lives, they're just here. They're all over the place. I try to, but it started out, if you watch the whole thing, we discussed a lot. So people that came in late, I encourage you to just go back and watch the rewatch, hit the like button, do the things. This school pew-pewing, it's just the beginning. I hate even knowing I'm right, but the whole copycat thing is about to happen. I took my kids out, my grandkids, I took them out of school. They're getting homeschooled, bro. No. That's the way that is. So with that, I gotta go in there and teach school. So All American Prepper, stay ready. Stay dangerous. Thank you, Moose Man. Appreciate you, bro. But why? Appreciate everybody. I love you all. Please make sure you're still subscribed. A lot of people is finding they've been unsubscribed from the channel. Shadow ban is real. They don't want this information known. All right. Thank you so much, Kim. Thank you. Appreciate you. Y'all have a blessed day. All right. Thanks. All right. Later, Moose Man.